Alright, here we are at the trailhead that will lead me to Rose Island. A little informational stand about it. And here I am at 200 feet, roughly 200 feet above sea level. And looks like by the time I get down to it, it will be almost a drop of almost 70 feet, so I'll be only 130 feet above sea level. So it's going to be a very steep walk and a very rough climb on the way back. But either way, it's 55 degrees outside. As you can see, sunny blue skies. Let's go have some fun today. Here we are, we're going down steep decline on our way to Rose Island. If I'm leaning backwards just to go down this hill, imagine what I'm going to be doing on the way back up. But Rose Island had an amusement park built in the 20s, over a century ago. And then the Great Depression hit, shut it all down. And then back in the 40s, the United States Army bought up all this land and used it for an ammunition plant. Some of it is still restricted, some of it is not, hence it being a state park. Here we come upon the historic Portersville Bridge. Originally, the bridge was dismantled from Du Bois and Daviess counties and currently rebuilt right now at this location between 2008 and 2011. This is the footbridge that will take us over to Rose Island. Alright, here's the introduction to Rose Island, where it talks about how steamboats brought the visitors on day trips between 23 and 37. Most visitors came to Rose Island by steamboat for day trips. Others rented cottages and stayed in the Grand Hotel, which was once a resort. Now it's more than a nature preserve. This may not look like much, but there used to be a suspension bridge right about here that would cross over instead of the Portersville Historic Bridge. On this pole right here, the one near the bottom, you can see where the marker says a 1937 flood. So the Ohio River and the creek rose high enough to reach that blue marker. And you can see where the creek is right now, or the river that separates Rose Island from the rest of the park. Water rose up that high and pretty much destroyed Rose Island's amusement park. Okay, the creek down there, called 14 Mile Creek. Also, Rose Island is not an island, it's actually a part of a peninsula. And 14 Mile Creek eventually makes its way toward the Ohio River. Here we are looking at looks to be what's remains of when the steamboat would come here and pull up here. we come back around, and it talks about summer's highlight. And then to get an idea for the flood, this little white mark is roughly about how tall I am, 6'4". And the flood, 1937, all the way up there. Would have done some serious damage. As if currently right now, Rose Island experiences a lot of flooding in general. Found a lot of trash up along the trail pathway, just along the edge here. So we obviously get more floods here than we are aware of. So here we are at what remains of the Rose Island Hotel. All that remains is a retaining wall and a few steps beside the trail, which I have not found the steps, but the little concrete beyond the metal railing here that talks about the Great Flood, that is the retaining wall. All that is left of the Rose Island Hotel. To give you an idea of this Great Flood of 1937, 70% of Louisville was underwater, ranging from the Ohio rivers, ranging from Pittsburgh to Cairo, Illinois. The flood is to be considered one of the most powerful of the 20th century. Louisville was the hardest hit among the Ohio River cities. Picture right here in the center is the Rose Island facilities after the flood. Even though the Rose Island was not open during the time of the flood, it would never reopen again after the flood. So after a century, here we are at the swimming pool of Rose Island. May I suggest no one trying to go dive in and go swimming now. Concrete swimming pool was said to be the first filtered water pool in the Midwest. Water was either pumped from the 14-mile creek or the Ohio River. The pool was so well constructed that it held water for many years until it was filled in for safety reasons. There we go, walking along the arches, and we come to the Rose Island Dance Hall. Can't really see much other than what nature has reclaimed. Very old metalwork. More than likely a fountain, something decorative for the dance hall or Rose Island in general. No information regarding it. Here we are on Trail 3. I am deciding to not go back up that very rugged, steep incline. And I'm going to take the 1.5 mile trail to get back to the parking lot. There was a gentleman I passed who asked me if the steep incline was the only way in and the only way out. I forgot to mention the 2.1 mile trail through the woods. A little bit of waterfall, Trail 3. And look at the majestic rock cropping, or as you might say, the mountain kind of eroding.